Alright there. Hello everyone. This is Soul Super 17 here, and let me first, as usual, I do not own this picture. This is a non-paid video. Alright, okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to be downstairs taking care of the fire in my house. And so I am in my kitchen right now. Because one, I have to watch the fire like I said, and two, I may have to stop the video to grab something to eat. Hence, kitchen. Okay. So, like I said, do not own this picture. I just want to make that clear. So you're probably wondering, why am I making a new what if? Well, I talked to somebody. I have to make sure I got his name right. I think it was Ennard. Give me a minute. Ender. Sorry, I've been watching some really stupid videos called Gotcha Life, Afton Family, and yeah, but Ender. I joined his server and I was talking to him about it and, just wondering, what it is. And so, what I did was we talked about it. We were just talking, and he said something about how no one ever did something. And then I, and my genius brain of mine, has all about creativity and thinking of stories that are impossible, thought about it, and, well, I could not sleep, so I'm just making it. And I'm sorry. So, allow me to explain what this is. This is what if deku was trained by John Wick, but I am adding a lot more into this. And I mean a lot of information. So, background information. John Wick is basically from the movies. He's part of the assassin society that he still is in. I forget, but it's like the Russian mob, and they get that hotel. You guys know it. I mean, the movie's been out for a while, but if you guys don't know the movie, if you're kids, I recommend it watching with your parents. All right. I'm not, promoting the movie or anything. I'm just saying, just watch it with your parents. So yeah, and if you already know it, then you know who they are, what his old life was. But before all that, he met Inko, and it was at a bar. She he drank too much. She drank too much. One thing led to another. All right. Inko had a survival quirk. Well, it was basically a survival quirk, and and John Wick at the time John Wick had a quirk. You know, he was born with a quirk like everyone else, but it was more like a intelligence creation quirk. What I mean by that is he's able to make anything, you know, and he cannot have any troubles with it. So Deku is going to get that and his mother's quirk. But it's gonna be the mother's quirk is gonna be more in depth. And it's gonna be, how can I say this? His quirk along with that makes one, and it is called Adaptability Survival Quirk. And it is very useful. But it will be suppressed. So, yes. And if you're wondering, John Wick, we only got John Wick 2, the movie, and, well, I'm doing like he was through 3, he got his revenge, he did everything he did, and he's been hunted down still. So, yeah. Um, so I'm no, no, no. I'm just going with John Wick 2 as he basically retreats. Goes into hiding. Gets stronger, better. He met Inko, and he's gone for 13 years. So yeah. But anyways, let's get into this. What if? This is what if Deku was trained by John Wick. All right. All right. Okay. So as we start the what if, Deku. Like in some of my what ifs, we start off him at the Quirk Doctor. The Quirk Doctor evaluated him. It's the same doctor as in canon, but he can't find a quirk. So he basically checked. He tries to steal it, but there's nothing. It's just, yeah. He doesn't know what happened. The kid doesn't have the double joint, and yet he has no quirk. So he thinks, eh, I don't really need this kid for anything. So he tells Inko he has no quirk, and Inko's pissed. She becomes abusive. Something like my Bond Deku What If, but she was worse. 2 times worse. And pretend I'm not gonna go into details in it. I'm just gonna say she's a drunk. She will not really. Her survival quirk does not allow her to get drunk. So she's not really, but she pretends it. Deku realizes at the age of 8. So he fends for himself. He gets bullied at school. He basically becomes used to this pain. So we start it off at, well, we're 4 years old. Everyone finds out. He gets bullied, and then right away after he starts getting bullied for a couple of days, and by his mom, he gets used to it. The feeling of pain is numb to him. So they try to hurt him in many ways, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. So then we're doing our time skip to around around 9 years old. Inko has been realizing, people have been noticing Deku has been getting thinner and getting paler, so she's been feeding him. But she's also been only doing this every 2 weeks, though. So he's basically surviving on 2 weeks of food for himself. And Inko does get a little worse on her abusing, for abusing. But we're doing another time skip to around, middle school. Canon, the canon time. As Deku, he's basically an empty shell, you can say. No, he looks that way, but he has life in him. He's just waiting to get away from all of this, to finally let out, come out and be himself. But since he's here, he can't. Everything goes similar to canon, but the sludge villain incident doesn't happen because of this. Deku knew Bakugo was already going to do the explosion of his book. That's why Deku, he didn't write in that. He got a different notebook. Let's just say this was Bakugo's notebook. And Bakugo wasn't looking at the cover, so he explodes it and throws out the window. And Deku, pretended to be crying and all that, as Bakugo just leaves. And then Deku just smiles and walks out of the room and says to himself, "You're such an idiot, Bakugo." As he's walking a different way. Instead of going right, he goes left. And then Bakugo's checking Bakugo's checking his bag, as then he says, wait a minute, where's my notebook? As he goes back running over to his desk. It's not in there. As next he's playing it back in his head. So he runs out, and then he goes to where the notebook is in the fish pond, with the fishes and all that. As he goes, that nerd, that guy. no! As birds are flying in the distance. As Deku's just smiling. He's taking a very long route to go home. He doesn't care about going home to his mom. Mitsuki has been always constantly checking. And Inko has always been acting like, oh, everything's fine, all that. Mitsuki has been constantly checking on Deku. She memorized his routes that he goes on, which he doesn't want no one to, not even Bako, so he basically takes different routes every single day. On this route, he's going through a shady alley, a shady place. There's multiple guys, and Deku just doesn't care. They see the scarring on his neck, which he actually has or a little bit of his chest shown, where there's a scar on his chest, they see a little scar as they go like, hey kid, drop you everything and we won't hurt you. And they have a knife, and Deku just says, alright. He just drops everything, and it's nothing. He only has a book. I say, what, you got no money? He was like, I don't get fed at home properly, so do you really think we have money on me? And they go, alright, take off and then Deku just takes off his jacket, his school uniform basically, takes off his shirt, and they see all the scars. Like, every single part of his body is covered. Like, chest, back, side. It's just a whole bunch of scars and burns, and it's like, and during this time, somebody was walking by, which is him. It's John Wick. As John Wick, was coming back into Japan to see this woman Inko, because he realized that maybe Inko had a son or a child with him. So for 13 years, well, no, not for 13 years. 13 years, he had no idea he had a son. And so, he found out from one of his contacts that he said something about a woman named Inko Midoriya, right? As he goes, yeah, why? He goes, I checked the records. She may have had a son, Wick. He goes, wait, what? I had a son? For 13 years I had a son, and I had no idea about it. Okay, give me the next flight to Japan immediately. And yeah, that happens, and he sees the kid. He basically sees the features and says, "Oh my God, that may be my son. And what happened to him? Has that woman hurt him this badly and such?" But the burn marks, he knows she doesn't have them. Well, Inko could not get drunk, like I said, so she wasn't drunk at the bar. And John Wick was. So she said he had a very powerful quirk. So she thought, money. So yeah. But anyways, he sees Izuku. He takes a picture. He basically asks his friend to do the facial scan and just matches up, to his and Inko Midoriya's face, which that's gonna take some time. So basically, he just says to him, okay, if it is, we're gonna get him out of there as soon as possible. All right, we're gonna get him out tonight. And he goes, all right, let's do this. And so he leaves, and the guys that are gonna basically try and mug Izuku just says, we're sorry. As Deku just puts back on his shirt, his jacket, just put his things back in, and then he says, yeah, you're sorry, my butt. And he just bumps them, and he was also skinny, so it was like, the way the force he had behind it was like did hurt the guy. He was like, what the? Izuku did not basically, he did not do nothing. He worked out. He trained his body because he felt like he needed to. And so, what happens is, he gets home. It's around 7 o'clock at night. Izuku basically took someone's, when somebody was, having a bag, they put it down. He was saying, fast foods. He basically grabbed it and just started eating on the way home. The guy was like, what the? And, yeah, he basically learned how to do this. So Deku gets home, Inko is basically having a beer bottle, empty beer bottle. She throws it at him, it hits him. He's bleeding a little bit, and it's just, Inko just saying, what are you doing back this late? And he goes, why do you care? It's not like you ever do that. You never cared about me anyways. He just walks past saying, I'm your mother. And he goes, yeah, some mother you are. Drunk, who's acting like it. I know about your quirk. You're not drunk, so stop acting like one. And then she basically, looks like Inko. She goes, what do you mean? How did you? She goes, I'm smarter than I look, Inko. Just don't bother me for the night, like usual. If you come in my room, let's not have anything happen then. As he leaves, Inko's pissed. So she starts, well, she basically starts thinking, she starts calling up somebody to make a life insurance plan for Izuku. Basically, she increased the amount on it where she would get more money from it. She had this for years. She just kept getting it more and more and more money. As then, basically, Izuku goes to bed early. Even though he ate something on the way, he has not eaten breakfast nor lunch. So that was his only meal, and he is still hungry, and he decides to fall asleep. And so, what happens? When he does, he starts having multiple images. No, memories. First person views. One starts in an ancient time. A person's moving through the crowd. As then he has a crossbow and shoots at a person and jumps off of their and basically with his hand he basically has a blade come out and assassinates one guy. As everyone runs, he just stands over them and just runs. As when he does, he just disappears into a crowd of people with white robes just like him. Then he has images of a man with water, boats, and saying his name is Ezio Auditore Danavense. Ezio Auditore. Also, I don't know any of these characters. Alright? I do not own anything from Ubisoft. Alright, I forgot. Well, I'm gonna put that in right now, so I do not get copyright. So yeah, and then he has a dream. Well, then he's having images of a boy who's running through the woods and seeing his mom speak a language that he cannot understand. And she dies, and he goes on a journey for revenge. He has a type of weapon. He is wearing a white hood, blue, and I think his name is Connor. Yeah. Well, basically Assassin's Creed 3. But yeah, you guys didn't notice. So then, I think it was like this way. I'm just saying it's a part of it. So he hears a man call him saying, Edward Kenway. And he goes, that is I. He goes, you are under arrest for piracy. He goes like, you can't, say, arrest me when you're dead. He's like, what? And he just shoots the guy right in the head. He goes, well, looks like we're ready, boys. Board them! As they, started boarding, he's firing off 3 more guns. And then just using swords and fighting. He's basically getting all these images of, all these memories, learning the skills. And then it goes further down the line to ancient Japan, to then England. It's just going and going. All the way up to John Wick. And then he wakes up in a cold sweat. And it's just, he goes, what was, and he looks at the time, it's midnight. He goes, I'm just gonna go back to, as then Inko, kicks the door open and saying, time to die, time to die, you brat. You useless brat, she says, as then Deku looks around and the only thing that's nearby is a pencil. As he just grabs it, and as soon as Inko's about to she just basically runs over and tries to slam the knife that she has downwards. Deku got it up immediately before that, grabbed her shoulder. She is high, Inko that is basically tall, and then shoves a pencil right, with enough force to basically goes right through her skin and all the way into her heart. And she's basically just seeing it as she sees no fear, no hesitation in his eyes. Because he witnessed all these deaths, all these skills, all these people just killing. So he's not affected by it. As she goes, how could? And he goes, I'll see you in. They say I'll see you in hell because it's a natural place and it's not a curse word, so I'm safe. And yeah, she just drops to the floor backwards, and he just, well, like I said, she drops to the floor backwards, and he just watches her. As soon as she hits the ground, he goes to his bag. He grabs everything he needs: food, water, clothing, a blanket, and right when he opens up the door, he sees a man, just like when he was sleeping, and he just says, "Are you Izu?" As in he just sees blood on the kid's face. He goes, as in he just rushes in. He goes all the way to, well, he goes charging the rooms, and then he gets to Inko's body. As Izuku basically just like when he turned around, he stands there right in the doorway with basically a knife. He goes, "Are you a hero or a cop?" As he goes, "I came here to save you, kid. And look what you did." "How did you?" He goes, "I don't know. I don't have a quirk, so how am I supposed to know how I did this?" He goes, "What's your name?" "Izuku Midoriya." He goes, "Well then, kid, I'm John Wick. It's nice to meet you. I'll like you to come with me." He goes, "Wait, really? Come with you? I just killed somebody." And as he sees the knife on the ground next to him, goes hand. He goes, "Self-defense. Come on." So basically, he called the cops, and he ripped out the pencil as he has a flashback to him murdering somebody with a pencil. And he's thinking to himself, is this kid really my son? Then, good for him to get rid of this trash. As he says, "I can't believe I." He looks back at Inko and he said that in his head. So yeah, they leave. The cops get there. They pronounce Inko dead. Single stab wound to the heart. Hole too small, as it was revealed. Pencil wound. Everyone, well, people are saying that's horrible. Some villains are laughing. As just then, breaking news: Nezu, UA High, has declared that we are not gonna have the next generation of children to come into here until they pass high school. It has been noted that we need this to happen. It is too dangerous, and it'll be more effective when they have a stronger quirk. So they'll have to be 18 to 18 to 17 after graduating high school, after 4 years. So you must have a high school diploma to get into UA now. As Mbaku was just thinking, what? Why? Basically. So, but during this time, John Wick, guys Izuku food, basically, helping out with his stomach, getting bigger because it was like, well, Izuku did steal enough food to eat some days, so it's not really small. He still has a normal sized stomach, because if you don't know, stomachs shrink if you don't eat enough food. So, yeah, I thought that would just be a good thing to tell you. He does have a small, his stomach did not shrink, so yeah. But anyways, so Izuku just asks, when food doesn't matter, goes like, "So, what am I gonna do for you?" Basically, as John Witcher says, "Well, first off, I'm gonna train you, and well, we're gonna figure out if you have a quirk analysis." "I'm quirkless." He goes, "Well, you've been through a lot of trauma, kids, so maybe you have one now." He goes, "Well, if I had one all this time, what is it then?" As he said, "Well, we'll find out." So John Wick goes to he knows somebody that is part of like the black on the dark web. Well, more like the a the dark side of society, basically like the villain society, but assassins. So yeah, as Deku basically goes to him, and oh yeah, okay, yeah, got it. Okay, as Deku goes to him, as they analyze, and it's the same guy that told him about Zuko, being John Wick may have had a kid. So basically, Izuku gets his get analyzed. He has a quirk. He had no extra toe, no extra joint. As they analyze it, it is like Wicks, but then Inkos. As Deku said his mom's quirk was survivor. You know, see, she's able to survive in any situation or environment. And they go like, huh. So he started doing tests as then, Deku started to adapt to everything. Like, they put him in an area where he's in an alleyway, like in a rundown city place, and Deku immediately, goes into certain areas, go through trash bags, get like some like things that aren't rotted all the way, or have any like bugs on it. If they do, then he basically like takes them off into basically a part of the trash bag, and then he just finds like some pieces of wood and such, and some like glass. As then Deku, he starts like they have him in there like for like almost the whole night, as he just starts to find certain things. He finds clean water like in a pipe that shouldn't really have any clean water, any water in. As in, he's able to start a fire. And basically, what he does is he finds the food that was basically like rotting. Well, not really rotting or even had like bugs on it. As then he starts cutting the bugs up, and let's say and then puts them onto like a pan that he was finds like some he made like a pan, some like a metal pan, as it's over the fire. As they just like start cooking it, he just starts cooking them. As and then like with the food, he just starts putting it into the pan as it starts cooking too. And this is surprising to John Wick, as he's just saying like, huh, he's pretty resourceful, just like me. Well, I mean, I'm building my own stuff now. I've been doing that for years, but his resourcefulness is higher than mine. So, and then he just starts, well, it's not good. I mean, it tastes good, but it's not the best. Eh, he just starts eating it. He doesn't throw up. He cooked it, so he doesn't throw up. It didn't smell or taste good, but it was bearable. So, yeah. As then, they put him in another situation that morning, and it was like a woods. And, well, a small wood area, as Deku does somewhat similar things, but with more fruit, herbs, and non poison foods. As they even had some little animals. As Deku throws it, basically he found some berries. As he sees some animals, he basically throws the berries over to the animals. As one of them eats it, and well, it dies immediately. He just smiles and goes and takes them though, which no one understands what he's gonna do. So then, even though it is a small area, it is still let's just say this area was a warehouse, so they had separate things, different warehouses with different things. So they did have animals in one. So basically, Deku thinks there's gonna be some boars, so he goes over, gets the berries, gathers them up in his hand, finds a place to put them on. Let's just say a stone slab, and then he finds another thing. As then he right away takes a rock with a piece of wood and just starts cutting a spear shape. As then after he's done with that, he smashes the rock onto the berries, the poisonous ones. As then when they're all basically smash and turn into a liquid, Deku starts rolling the spear tip in on it. As then he goes out and hunts. He even had a he basically will remember where the berries are, so that way he's gonna basically make a fire near them to see if they're still poisonous, if they are turned into a liquid and basically cooked. So Deku basically he finds a boar, as then he's able to get in a position, as then when he throws it, he aims straight for the head, as it hits the boar in the eye, and well, it dies due to it starts to squirm, as then all of a sudden it dies very quickly. This was a fast acting poison, as it went straight for the brain, as then Deku runs over, basically rips out the spear, and he let's just say this, he was able to find something to on the way there when he was looking to basically he had to make a rock to the point where it was sharp, and then he was able to cut something, anything, including right through bone. So basically he has that on him, as then when he does, he basically gets right to the head, and goes right he gets to the board head, and then goes right for the neck, and it goes all the way through, and he just lets everything drip, everything go off. And I'm sorry for this if you guys are imagery, people, but that's all. This is all that's gonna happen. This is the final gore scene. I'm sorry, I should have said there's gonna be some gore, but that is all that is gonna happen. And no, this is kind of I would think, you have to survive, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Please forgive me on it, but anyways, Izuku, then cooks the boar, does what he does, and it turned out that they were still poison, even when they're cooked. So it was a good thing he thought to chop off the head, and then even go a little bit farther, cutting off pieces, so it wasn't affected, and even let everything just flow out of the boar. So yeah. So anyways, after that, John Wick, John, says to him, I'm gonna train you now. We're gonna do this until, till you're 100%, good. As Deku just nods. So, John Wick and him leave Japan, as they, go to different areas, getting him trained by different people. And Deku learns this very quickly from them. He learns their techniques, their fighting style, the mastery of their art, even the weapon skills, how to basically fire a weapon, use a knife efficiently. He just learns everything so quickly. It's surprising, Wick, and even the teachers. As this this was going on for months though, but after 4 weeks of them, training, I'm gonna say when they left the facility, that same guy called Wick, as he says, that is your son. And right when he hangs up with the guy, he during his training, he asks the trainer stop for a minute. John comes over, puts his hand on both hands on Zuko's shoulders, and he says, "I'm proud of you, son, for your very first kill that you did. Was your own horrible person of your own mother, basically your own mother that was a horrible person. I'm proud of you for ending her." As Izuku was, wait, what? Father? You're my father? He goes, yeah, I got drunk, and that happened with your mom. He goes, alright, and I'm gonna say, he goes no crap. You basically don't know this, but since my quirk is adapted survivor, I went, for some reason that night, I had all the memories of our past, of the past, as he, met Connor, Connor? The main protagonist of Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3. Don't know their names, And he noticed him, and then through life, they kept on being more and more and more. assassins until it got to him, and now it's to him. So he goes, wait, so our whole entire family tree is assassins? And he goes, yeah. He goes, all right, well then, I'm gonna go check. As he basically, goes on site with his DNA as all their names are, well, he asks for all the names as Deku writes them down as he checks as it is them. He goes, so we are the generation, basically a family of assassins for every generation. As Deku says, yeah. He goes, all right then. That's kind of cool to know. So, Deku is trained, and he's trained hard. But at the same time, it's so easy for him that it just takes like a few weeks, and then he just goes right to train. So, right when he's around 2 years with training, he is a master of everything. He keeps on doing his skills. So, John decides to then, well, train Zuko himself. To basically show him everything he knows. He was training him in ways that would suit him better, he thought. And Deku has become way stronger. And people have winced at Deku's scars. I'm not gonna lie. It was gruesome. If you know what I do, I don't like to do much gore in my videos, but this is kind of like a dark what if. So I'm gonna make this first episode a dark, dark, but not too dark. But the entire board thing was a little bit dark, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I gross you guys out, but yeah. But anyway, so John Wick and him start training for a year, no, 2 years, and during this training, they found out something. John had a BB gun and was shooting at Izuku. Izuku tripped John. A BB was about to hit Izuku in the face. John didn't care. He knows it was going to hurt, but Izuku knew it was going to hurt too, but still tried to block with his right hand. As then all of a sudden, everything stops. It was like multiple shots though, so he was waiting for the impact. As then when he looks, John was in shock, so was Izuku. As when he gets up, he basically touched a BB, let it go, as then all the other ones drop. As in he was, what happened? As Izuku says, I don't know. So they do some research, all training in this, in another year, as they found out that John Wick was experimented on, and even lost his memories of this, experimentation. It was a simulation of, let's say, like the Matrix. Yeah, I don't own it. I don't own that movie or franchise or anything. Just want to say that. So, or any of the games or anything. But anyways, yeah, it was basically something similar to the Matrix when he was a kid. As what they did, they basically give these people some some things of like what they have in the Matrix, like everything going in slow motion, they were able to run on walls and such. And well, for John, his quirk was made him in the simulation a lot more different like them. It made them like everyone else, but he was able to fly, stop bullets, and do the whole entire slow motion thing, even run on walls and such. Basically in slow motion. So yeah, so Izu, and he didn't know about it. They found files, information, as the only one who, as the assassins that were put in this experiment were basically out there. As John thinks this is a little bit too much, so they do that. After finding that out, they go out and hunt those people down. As Izuku has the same abilities as John, they trained at those abilities. So John John Wick is basically able to slow down time, but he's able to move real quick through it. And Izuku is able to do the exact same thing. They both can fly, and they both can stop bullets. And so, what happens is, they take out everyone. So, hold on, give me a minute. Okay, so, I looked it up, and, I lost my train of thought, I'm not gonna lie. But, it's about the nickname Baba Yaga was going around, as it was a second one one with a mask. Basically, like if you played Dishonored, Corvo's mask, but a little bit modifications to it. Um, but yeah, like it does have like the scopes where it was able to see longer distance, but it's more like the mask will basically have like like how can I say this? It lights up and basically, there's like shown like a face in it. When it's like when you see it, but then when it goes into the darkness, it's gone. And rumors had it the assassins, the Baba Yaga was going around John Wick, but they know it was different. It was more skillful, more deadlier to John. I'm gonna have to hold on. So yeah. Anyways, like I'm saying, so they were calling him Baba Yaga too, because it seems like there's two of them. One is John Wick style, and another one someone else. And well, he made a reputation for himself, Azuku, well, Deku, and he has gotten tattoos inspired by. Well, he just got tattoos of different things. One's a skeleton head. Another is, well, the Grim Reaper. Another one is a tattoo of saying Baba Yaga 2. And he even has a dragon tattoo on his arm. And this is just to cover the scars on his back. Sorry, but well, one covers the dragon tattoo covers some of his back. All the Baba Yaga is right on his shoulder, well, not his shoulder, right on his chest. Another one, like the skeleton tattoos, is like on his like shoulder, along with a dragon skull. Oh yeah, and the Grim Reaper one is on his side, which their scars can still be seen on it, but yeah. Anyways, so that was 2 years of him training, then 2 years. I mean, then a year training with his father, then a year, finding out why he had these weird abilities, then to another year of basically hunting other people down, and so when he is 17, they decide to go back to Japan, and Deku has been also doing homeschool. He has gotten a high school diploma and everything else at a young age, but he's waiting to go to UA because John told him he wants him to go into being in hero school, but only for 3 years, and then if he doesn't want to be a hero, he can leave, and that's the deal, as he understands. So he basically does that, but first he has to pay a visit to somebody, as Deku has done many different things. He has many different tools. He has made the assassin's hidden blade. He has adapted some of the assassin's traits, and even combined it with his father's and his own style. He has made it more of his own. And so his father and him, have the same. Well, everything's permitted, the same thing as the assassins and the Brotherhood, all that. Just by they say everything's permitted, nothing can stop them. They make it somewhat different. But yeah. But anyways, Izuku, finds Bakugo Katsuki, as rumors went around, Japan, that about this. Well, people have been dying all over the world, not Japan though. But so what happens is that Bakugo is out one night with his friends, and he's on the way home as a mysterious figure appears out of the shadows. He basically Izuku has two hidden blades. One's a regular one, while the other one is something he made. He made it to where the hidden blade with a certain material that him and his father created. to the point where it would, extend and then become a sword. So he basically Bakugo says, "Who are you, you loser?" As then Deku just, you know, moves his hands and the hidden blade comes out, and then it just starts extending. As then when it gets to the point where it has like some bandages around it, he grabs it and pulls it up, as it's just a sword. As then he says, with a voice changer saying, "Come at me, bomb boy." As then he says, "Why you say, you loser?" Bakugo, and he just runs at Deku. Well, not knowing it is him. Deku misses all vital spots. He just makes like little cuts and such, as this blade has sleeping and knockout. Well, sleeping drug on it. So as then he puts it, he basically starts to shrink, as then he puts it away, back into the place, as then it goes back into the, it goes back in to where it needs to be. As then Deku just is dodging his attacks. As then Baku is saying, "What's happening to me?" Because he was getting sluggish and such. As then he basically falls asleep. Deku goes to him. He picks up Baku, as then he carries him over to the warehouse. And so he straps him in, as then he has a blanket covering something. So he wakes up Baku with water, and Baku says, "What? Where am I? What happened? Where is that?" And then he sees, he goes, "You." As then Deku says, well, with the false modulator saying, "Yeah, it's me. So, Bakugo Katsuki, think you're the best, bullying people, treating them like crap, making sure they know their place in society. Where's yours?" As Bakugo says, "Being the number one hero at the top." And he goes, "Oh, you're just a terrorist. You basically believe you can be number one and you hurt people. Does a real hero use his power to hurt people, or does he use his power to protect them?" As Bakugo was saying, "Shut it, you shut it, you loser." As he's wondering what Deku's saying. He was like, what? And he's blinking at him, and he hears a little, puppy like going, just whining. As then he goes, "What's underneath there?" And if you guys don't know, Bakugo is terrified of puppies. Well, dogs. Well, might in this what if. So yeah, so Deku knows this. And he goes, "Oh, it's nothing, just." As then he basically gets up, grabs the blanket, and rips it off of the cage. As there's about 20 puppies in there, hyperactive, playing with each other and such. So goes, eyes wide, and he goes, get those things away from me. Get them away from me." As Deku is saying, "Oh, what's wrong? Why are you scared of these little cuties?" As he goes, "Those are not cuties. Those are terrifying creatures." As Bakugo is just like trying to squirm, he can't. He can't use his quirk for some reason. He goes, "Yeah, I made sure those bindings are quirk, nullifiers." As he goes, "Crap, crap, crap." And so he lets out the puppies. They all start running up, and there was like a ramp, so they will all go over him. And then he basically, oh yeah, I also got. He also has a second name. Well, he goes by Baba Yaga, too, or well, actually, they all figured out it was Kane. His name is Kane. So yeah. But anyways, so Deku, basically says, "I'll leave you in there with them. Bye, Bakugo." As he, closes the door, Deku takes off the mask. He talks to his father. He talks to the friend, and they get along. And Bakugo's screaming and everything. 30 minutes pass. No, 23 hours pass, and then Deku puts back on the mask. He goes in, and Bakugo is just like fine. And he goes, "So, are you gonna treat people like crap?" And he goes, "No, I won't. I won't treat no one like crap. I'll protect people. I'll encourage them to do better. I'll help them out, and I'll do anything. Please, just don't hurt me." As Bakugo is terrified of him. He actually, as soon as Deku releases the restraints, Bakugo just says, "Hey, little guy," they were all sleeping. So he picks up one and just starts. Well, he starts petting one of them, the puppies. And he says, "So you're not afraid of dogs?" And the one goes like, "No, I'm afraid of you." And he goes, "Good." He goes, "What's your name so I don't mess with you?" He goes, "My name's Kane. Don't forget it." As he leaves. Well, he gets Bakugo out. He knocks him out. He basically takes him home. And he leaves him on the doorstep. He rings the bell. Then a few minutes later, after Izuku leaves, Misi comes out. She sees a Bakugo and then she brings him in. So yeah. So after all of that, they him and John and Izuku stay in Japan. They take assassination jobs, and one of them was Izuku basically going to a museum as a pretend to be an old man and such, and basically he has a cane and his hidden blade on him only, but the cane has a certain needle that has a poison. So yeah, as Zuku, just gets in, starts doing the can, and then the man is basically his target is in front of him, and he's basically in his way. He goes, "Hey, young sir!" He just hits the guy with the cane, a few times to inject the poison into his system. He, says, "Get out of my way." He goes, "I'm sorry, sir." As the man gets out, as he basically he walks around for a few minutes. The man, leaves, goes to the bathroom because he ate something. There was something there that he ate that gave him diarrhea. As Izuku just leaves, he walks out, and after a few minutes pass, Izuku rips off the mask and just starts walking around the cane, twirling it. Well, in his hand, like the cane part where he holds onto, he just starts twirling it. And then he basically gets to his father, and he gives him the cane, and then he basically takes off the needle part and just makes a regular cane. And so they hear on the news that the man died from diarrhea, but then after the autopsy report, he died of poison. So yeah. So hold on. Alright, so that was after the police reports. So, Deku laughed at us, so same thing with John. So after, Deku basically, he created some items, and then at another job during that year before he hits 18 and he can get into UA, well, try to, he's running away from some guys, and, as he basically jumps off of a roof. As, they're, falling as they get to the edge, as they're, Deku starts to slow down time. Basically everything's slowing down. As then, wait, hold on. Okay, so sorry about that. I was hungry. I need to eat something. So, anyways, as I was saying, puppies, Bakugo. Yeah. So Deku. Oh yeah, and Deku one night was running away from some people. He jumps off the building, and well, the guys were chasing him. So everything's moving in slow motion. As then Deku brings out his pistol and he shoots. Basically, he fires a bullet as it's starting to go in slow motion, but he moves it. I mean, while it's in his hand, it's the bullet's able to move real quick. So, but as soon as he gets out of the chamber, it starts to move in slow motion. He basically already aimed it, and yeah, and then he basically moves it, puts it back in the holster, has a grappling hook, throws it over to the building, and then it starts pulling himself over as it just starts to wind up. And when he gets over to that building, he just sits down on it, he snaps his fingers, and then boom, everything's starting to go back to normal as the bullet hits the guy in the middle. Two guys are seeing this and they're like wondering what just happened. He was right there, now he's over there. As Deku, is waving at them as he gets up, and then he just starts to run along the side of the building. Basically, what I'm saying is, it's like right on top of the, not on the side. He basically runs along the roof, a building near the edge. And so, when he, gets to the end of it, he jumps off, and the two guys were just, just watching him go while they had their pistols out, and when they see him jump, they just put them away. As Deku just diving down. They're smiling, they're thinking, oh, he's an idiot. Hold on. Microwave, sorry. Anyways, so they're just gonna watch him fall and kill himself. But then when Deku starts getting near the ground, he basically goes up all the way. He starts pulling up. He starts flying up in the air, and they're just thinking, "What the heck?" And yeah, he goes up in the air, and then when he does, he gets all the way to the top, of the clouds, as it looks like as all the clouds are basically like, when he goes through them, the clouds basically start to, one side starts to do an arc shape, and the other side does another arc shape, and then Deku just looks in the direction of like his hideout, and then he just dives right towards it, and he's going really fast. So basically, when he gets to the roof, he basically lands like Superman, 1 foot bend, 1 foot, basically 1 foot, basically on the ground, while the other foot is basically bend, and just like looks like he's about to hit his knee on it, and Naruto just holding him. And then, his father's waiting for him. He goes, "How was it?" Izuku, he says, and then, Izuku Deku just basically tells him, the usual. Kill the guy, run away from some people, stop time, shoot the guy, then, proceed to basically go on the Earth side, then run off a building roof, jump off, and then fly away. He goes, "Well done." And, well, UA is about to start. So he, Nezu was contacted by John. Nezu has helped him in the past, so he knows. So yeah, he gets in a recommendation, and his basically is going to be just a test on his skills, his fighting capabilities, his sharpshooting, what he knows, what he can build and such. That's it. So yeah, so Izuku is saying, when does Zude start? He goes, tomorrow. Get some rest. You deserve it. So yeah, so Deku goes to sleep. He gets some rest, and his UA intern, well, his UA experience happens. He goes in. Nezu is personally there, along with Snipe and some combat people, and he takes all down the combat people. He basically gets perfect shots, and then he basically, just start wailing just like start acing like the Rin exam too. So they don't really have him do the robots, but everything that should have happened with the robots and everything, like the 0 point, never happened. So yeah, so Deku said, Nezu told him he passed and that he has a scholarship. So yeah, so Deku has a scholarship into UA. Yeah. So anyways, so he basically just trains for the next couple of days, rest, goes out into the city, and he just starts walking around normally. Deku has changed over the years. He basically got his hair cut. He basically, has a way pretend it's John doesn't tell him to slit his hair back or anything. Pretend it's black still, but there's only a little bit of green in it, and it's he basically has I don't know, one side shaved. No, I'm just kidding. No, he doesn't have that. He just has a haircut short, sides are shorter than the front and the back. So yeah, and he even has a couple of piercings. John just lets him be who he wants to be. So yeah, he has an eyebrow piercing, ear piercings, and a lip piercing, and basically that's what happens. So he just goes around. Nobody knows him. He sees Bakugo, and Bakugo is a changed person. It looks like even sees Mitsuki, and Mitsuki just sees Izuku, and right away she remembers him. She runs over to him. She says, "Izuku, is that you?" She hugs him. John's with him too, and he goes, "So is this the Mitsuki you're talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, it is." "Hi, Aunt Mitsuki." She goes, and then she looks at John. She goes, "Who's this?" He goes "Oh, this is my father, actually." She goes, "What?" And he explains the situation about Inko. He was drunk. She took advantage of him, basically, and yada yada yada. He explains about his quirk. She said it's very powerful, so she must have been using Zuko, he's, just for money, and he, basically is quirkless. As John says, he's not actually. She goes, what? It turned out, for some reason, his quirk shielded itself. Like, it made it so where it wouldn't be noticed by anyone or anything. Like, it just vanished, and then it basically came back, but it was suppressed. That's what they figured out. Because, well, that's what it did. It basically, like, had self-conscious, like, new danger. Deku has learned that he has, it's like a danger sense. He can react to it or not. So it's basically like Spidey sense, but on a more heightened scale. So yeah. So Bakugo just says, hi, Zuko. Like, hi, Bakugo. I have a question. Are you still afraid of dogs? And he goes like, no, not anymore. I'm afraid of somebody else. He goes like, who? He goes, I don't want to talk about it. And he just walks away. And Mitsuki says, would you like come over for dinner or such? And he goes, sure. We'll love to. So yeah, they go over. Deku says, he got into you. Well, Deku says, oh, I got into a certain place in school. He goes, really? Mitsuki's husband. And he goes, yeah. I'm not gonna say where, but I'm very confident that somebody will be shocked to see me there. And what happens is, after that, Bakugo and him do chat. He figures Deku basically shows him real self to Bakugo, and Bakugo realized Izuku was a lot smarter than what he seemed to be, and a lot stronger. And that he was picking on somebody that seemed like weak and yet was strong. And then he explained about his mom, as then he just basically went to his, just basically in shock. Tears started to roll down his face, and yeah, the dude became a wreck. But he has told me he has gotten some tattoos. And that's when Mitsuki came in, heard. She opened the door right away. She goes, what? And, basically, Izuku doesn't look like the, cinnamon roll he is. So, like in canon. So basically, she goes, where? He was like, oh, I don't mind showing. He just basically lifts up his shirt, and they see the scars. Mitsuki's shot, basically, she asked, did he do it? And he goes, nope, Inko. And this is something from Bakugo. Like, he points to specific areas, and Bakugo just says, like, what? And he says, oh, no, you were tame more than my mom, so don't worry. And Mitsuki's just in shock. So, well, what happens is, John comes in. He basically saying, what are you doing? He's showing the tattoos, as he has Baba Yaga on one second, and then he has, like, the dragon tattoo on his side, the Grim Reaper, no, the dragon tattoo on his back, the Grim Reaper on his side, on his shoulder, side of his shoulder. Wait, I mixed up, so wait. Dragon, Baba Yaga, skeleton head, skull head, and then Grim Reaper on his back. Yeah. And yes, why did you? He was like, oh, because he was old enough to do it. He even, he has piercings, you see. He put them in himself. All I did was just help him. Well, help him just saying, like, I can just, if you want to remove them, I just gave him some advice on it. So, yeah. Just how. So he puts back on the shirt, and he just says, yeah, so what? What he's wearing is just like a black shirt with a short sleeve plaid over it. Well, with just jeans, a chain over, and like some boots, combat boots. Nah, just some like regular sneakers. So yeah. So, they leave. Mitsuki tells, come back over again. He says, I will. So, after that, they leave, then they train for a little. That's all. And then, the day of UA. So, since it's, college and all, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing over, 18's gonna happen. No, I would never do that. No, I do not feel comfortable doing that. I will not go that far. But yeah. So basically, Deku is just having the mask over his face, has a hood on, basically just not even wearing the uniform. And Nezu just said he doesn't have to, and he just starts walking. The people who are villains recognize the mask, as they're just saying, "Why is he doing here?" As then Deku, gets to UA, you know, some villains saw this as they say, oh no, like Kane is there, he's going there, no. Basically, he's gonna be just like an anti-hero, but really, they just think, he's gonna become a hero. The deal was he can go to 3 years of college, and if he doesn't want to be a hero, he just be an assassin. That is also gonna be the same thing with the what if I have with about Deku was trained by the Zoldyck, Killboss family. So yeah. But anyways, that's enough of that. But let's just get in. So Deku, already knows the school layout, so he just walks all the way to the classroom. Aizawa was sleeping already. He basically was a little bit, well, not late. He was just like same time as usual, and then Bakugo doesn't notice him, so no, Deku is a little late. As right when Aizawa says, "Put these uniforms on," Deku opens up the door. Bakugo sees Deku. He basically runs to the window, opens it up, and just jumps out and basically starts making explosions to fly away to the next building over. But to the building over, as then freaking Aizawa looks at him and goes like, "What did you do?" He goes, "Nothing. Puppies." And Aizawa goes like, "Oh, alright. So how have you been, Teach? How you been, old Teach?" And Aizawa says, "Good. You, killed a bunch of people." As basically, no one knows this, but Nezu was actually an assassin at one point, along with some of the heroes in the school. And Aizawa, there's only like 3 teachers that were former assassins in the school, and Aizawa was one of them. So, he goes, "Yeah, I've been hearing. They've been calling you the Baba Yaga." "Exactly, just like your old man." He goes, "Yeah, I know." So, is that hit still out on him? It looks like it's permanent. He goes, "It won't be for long." He goes, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna go find where it is, and then take down every single person there, and then what? Get that bounty off his head?" And he goes, "Yeah, I will. Give me about a week, and I'll do it." As that makes that sweat drop over his Aizawa's face. He goes, "All right, just go and get change. I'll go get Bakugo." So yeah, so that's what happens. Everyone gets changed. Everyone's wondering who he is. When they get to the to the changing room, he gets changed. He's still gonna have the jacket, goes over. He changes. It's just a hoodie. So basically, he gets it off of him. He takes off his shirt. He's starting to get changed, and everyone is just distracted by his scars. And then Bakugo walks in. He sees the tattoos and such. And then he goes, "Wait, I." As then he looks over as he just says, puts a finger over the mask. As he goes, he just nods. But no one noticed Mineta. Mineta's noticed the hole as he walks over, as then Deku all of a sudden just immediately moves really quickly, knocks out Mineta, basically ties him, has him to the wall with his eye open, and then he rigs up something. As then he gets back over and just starts changing. No one noticed. So what happens is, while everyone's changing, Jiro thinks someone's gonna sees the hole, as then she sticks her earphone jack into the hole, and then it's Medea's eye was open, so he gets hit in the eye. As then he starts screaming, he rips his head against off the wall, and as he gets tied up and hanged into some kind of contraption that Nezuko made. And then everyone noticed as they're about to as Nezuko just standing right there, just small with the mask on, just against the wall, and they could just tell he's smiling as he goes, "Don't." He just basically says, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about him. He doesn't matter." As then basically Like then everyone just goes back to changing. As in Deku's already done, so he knocks on the wall, and Jiro's still there, and he says, "Thank you for helping me out." Jiro, was it? And she goes, "Huh?" He doesn't read. He didn't. He read the file on his classmates, so he knows all of them. But basically, he takes a picture of Mineta, and then he walks out. Jiro's about, just getting changed real quick, and then he's already waiting for her. So as soon as she opens the door and looks, she sees the mask on him with the hoodie on, and then he just, shows her his phone, and she goes, "What the?" And he goes, "Yeah, I did that." And she just starts laughing. And she said, "You help, thanks." And she goes, "No problem." So they leave, and while that is happening, while he's doing this, John is inventing, well, it's working on something. He's working on nanomachines to basically have Zuko and him to do something, to pass through shadows and to turn to a shadow like mist, so that they're able to go through anything really for about 10 minutes, and then there's a cooldown. So, yeah. So, anyways, as while he's doing that, Deku goes through the test, and he was already recommendation. Bakugo was first place, so he does exactly the same thing, and well, he gets about the same thing in canon. Well, no, it's a little bit older, so he gets at least, it was 750, so he gets around 850. His Quirk, everyone's kind of excited, and then as Alice says, he threatens everyone. That Deku is spelled, and Mineta's not there. And he asks him, "What about Mineta?" And Zuko just says, "Don't worry about it." And so he goes, "Alright," he's automatically, expelled. And they're like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, don't worry. You guys will, get expelled too if you don't, show me everything you've got." So everything goes somewhat similar to canon, but Deku's a little bit, well, since Ida's, basically Quirk, well, Deku is trained by people with speed, well, martial arts, so his body's a little bit more physical fit. So, well, a lot physical fit than in canon. So basically, he's able to keep up Ida, but he's a little bit ahead by just like a millisecond, which Ida was very impressed by him. And then he says, it was easy. So then, everything, happens. Deku just kind of demolishing everyone besides in the long jump. The balancing was easy. The grip test, he sort of, he was in second place. The ball throw, well, surprisingly, since he's been training so much and he was actually, you know, physical fit body wise, he pushed himself to the limit. So he broke his limit. He basically got a newfound strength. And well, he gets, I mean, it does say his like adapted survival quirk. So basically, his adapted survival quirk had him, have his body get used to being always working out and such and being physical fit. So it adapted his strength to be a little bit more stronger to become like superhuman strength. So he gets about at least more than Bakugo, like 2 times, like no, 200 more. So he gets in 1,000, 1,500. Yeah, 1,050. 1,050. Which Bakugo's not pissed. Which Shaizawa was pretty shocked by this. He goes, my quirks call it adapted survivor. So to survive any situation I'm in, my body adapted to be physically strong all the time. Any workout I do, I get physically stronger to become more superhuman. So, he just walks away. And, Araka still gets Affinity. Deku and Bakugo are technically, Bakugo and him are tied. Todoroki's kind of mad at that. And, well, yeah. So, Deku, gets, like, they were, no one was expelled besides Mineta. And then when he's, he's basically lets them all out. So, he gets home. John throws him a syringe filled with liquid. He goes, the nanites? He goes, yeah. And then he basically, they both shot into their necks, as then it was only a little pin, a little needle, as then it's basically injected automatically into them. as then they feel a little bit weird, and then the weirdness passes. So they test it out. It's only 10 minutes, but they were able to pass through 2 different walls, and like the floor, basically vents and everything else. So yeah, and Deku found a lead called Legion. And so he says it's going to take care of them because they've been a thorn in their side for about a good long time, because these are people who go on missions that basically have a 0% chance of survival rate, and they are assassination missions. So yeah, so basically Izuku saying I'm gonna go take care of them. As he goes, he already found their location. It's just about time we take care of them. As John nods. So basically, Zuko already had everything set up. He has some bombs and such, along with the detonator. As basically, he goes over to this abandoned building. He puts bombs on it. And then he basically uses this shadow ability to basically goes right through the windows and then like all the way over to the command center, which was basically he found out where it was pretty easily. Cause he did put like some like real robots, like basically they had like little type robots to have cameras on them, to basically roll around and then see where it was. So he already figured out where it was. It was only like, that's why they said 10 minutes, because all he needed was to go right through a window, right through a vent, and all the way through there, connected to the system. I mean, connected to the command room, their location, and then this there's a rafter, so he can just do that. So that's what he does. He goes right through that, the window, then the vent, then onto a rafter, in the command center. As then, basically, he has a thing of water with him. So he just basically says, they're saying like, so what's the next mission? I mean, what's the next target? And they said the Baba Yaga 2. And you're like, really? What about the first one? He says, well, one, this kid is way more powerful. Well, he has a little bit more skill than him. Actually, no, a lot more skill. We got no information on him. We got nothing. No name, nothing besides Kane. And we don't know what he looks like. And third off, we basically can be hit by him any time, because there was no traces of him on any of his freaking assassination attempts. We have done. There has been no trace of him, and all our top assassins have been killed by him, and it is terrifying. So this is the last attempt, and then we're done trying to fight him. As the guy says, all right, and then Zuko says, woohoo, up here, as they look up, and then he says, oh, sorry, wait a minute, as he basically moves the mask a little bit, starts drinking with some water, puts the mask back on, gulps, and he says, much better. As they're all freaking out, he goes, so you're Legion, right? Well, I got a little present for you. As basically has a bomb, and basically the detonator, as they used to say, what the, how did you, like, how, I'm everywhere and nowhere. Basically he just says, I'm everywhere and nowhere. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Yeah, so he just says that, and then he flicks the switch as it starts blowing up. Everyone's running. People who see Zuko just standing there on the rafter. As then he says, now, burn. And then all of a sudden disappears in smoke. They immediately leave the organization after it's done. They don't care. And it basically disbands. He took down the Legion, which then basically the leaders were arrested by the police. And basically freaking, like, everyone heard about it. And they say Kane did this. And John was proud of him. So Deku got something new. He basically got a new weapon. And that's where I'm going to leave it off, everyone. I do hope you enjoy this what if. I hope you like it. And it's 2 something in the morning, and yeah, I'm taking it out of the fire, so I may be up still. Anyways, bye everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are.